Welcome aboard. It's a pleasure having you folks here with me. Those of you that are joining me in the absence of Dale at Coin World UK. He has some family matters to go through today. Those of you that are joining. There we go. And today I'm just going to sit back, relax, and go through a few things on Canadian history, maybe talk about some coins, any general discussion that you might want to come up and talk about. But I think the one thing that I want to bring up, with all the things going on in Canada today, I think it's important that we take a look at a little bit more about the history of Canada. And everybody looks at us, at Canadians, as being so peaceful. Hi, the Bud Files. Nice to have you on board. The Canada, like so many other countries, they typically kind of hide a lot of the history that should be known. And if you know where to look, you can actually find some very interesting things that might surprise you. I'm a collector of military books and books on history, of course, along with my numismatic hobby. But it's important that I spend a little bit of time and share some things with you. For instance, I've been reading a book by T.W. Patterson here. It's called Canadian Battles and Massacres, 300 Years of Warfare and Atrocities on Canadian Soil. A lot of people don't know that. Hello, Peter. Welcome aboard. So I'm allowed to take excerpts from this particular book. Of course, I can't do it verbatim unless I want to get in trouble with the author and the publisher. But it does have a history is history. And by spending some time and taking a look at how volatile our history is, you realize that things that we're going through right now seem, even though it's very tense for a lot of people, it's actually pretty tame. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of Samuel de Champlain. He was one of the earliest folks to settle in Canada. He actually came aboard on May 27th, 1603. And right off the get-go, he had gone to loggerheads with the Iroquois Nation. And there were a lot of skirmishes that they went through. Hi, Sheila. Yeah, you know what, Sheila? We're getting the same thing here in Edmonton. I walked outside, I had my parka on, and I had to pull it off. I mean, you know, where I'm living is typically very cold. But it's nothing but a river of water right now, which is quite surprising. Yeah, the way the history books, especially when I was growing up, portrayed a lot of these early explorers of being brave, and you know they settled fighting terrible conditions and hostile natives and everything else, and it was always the one side that was talking. It was never both sides. And when you get the picture of both sides, you realize that yes, Europe was expanding and looking for new ventures to bring in monies and products and whatnot, but they didn't really take into consideration the indigenous people, and they took advantage of them. Essentially, they became hostile invaders, and because of technology, they actually won. Yeah, and Champlain, he knew how to play it. He used to he played the different tribes against one another. He actually settled with the Algonquins, and the Algonquins helped him defeat the Iroquois in many of the battles that he went through. So right from the get-go, Canada went through a lot of different battles. So I can see why the Indigenous people are upset, because essentially their land was taken from them. And it's not our fault, because, future generations, but we should not be judged for the sins of our father, but we should make sure that we learn from it and never repeat it again, and try to be fair with the people. I'm just scanning this. It's a rather old book. It's starting to falling apart. It's just like me. Hello, Peter. It's interesting too, when you take a look at this, you figure 1603. So yeah, you guarantee that any currencies that were coming into the country at that time, of course, would have been French, and most likely Spanish. Yeah, the big thing when we're talking about trading and whatnot with Indigenous people, you're looking at primarily the fur trade, and fur meant gold, and it also meant warfare. And of course, it also meant that these trading companies tended to go at it against one another. I mean, we've heard of the Northwest Company and the Hudson Bay. They were at odds at one time. Heath, Dottie's Adventure. Oh, I'm glad you're on. I need you to send me your address again. I was just going through trying to tie up the loose ends from my coin trivia game, and I found your name, but I couldn't find your address. So if you can email me, and I'll put my email up here so that you have it. Just so I got it again. I'm getting old, so I tend to misplace things. There you go. There's my email address. I did send out. I think I sent out about 95% of the coins that were earned from the people participating in the game. The game is going to start up again come next week. I just had a complete overhaul of my internet and had it shut down. Got rid of the copper, and I'm now running off a fiber optic, and I'm still getting used to how fast it is. Actually, it's awesome. Now I just have to upgrade my computer. If it's not one thing, it's another. Yes, please do hit that like button. It's great that you do that. Papa G, I got your prize sent out to you. Papa Giorgio actually won the 500 giveaway for the channel. He got himself a 2 millennium old coin, Roman coin, sent off to, which is very cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I went through all my my old email address went belly up when I switched from Shaw to TELUS, and I've been trying to get everybody's list. I've made envelopes now so that I have everybody's name and address, and once I send it out, I just repeat the address and leave it. And once a coin slips in there at the end of each month, I'll send them out that way. Yeah, it keeps melting. I'm actually. I would really like to see it where I can get out and do some metal detecting again. It's my detector's kind of. Where is my detector? She's hiding somewhere. Probably crying in the dark. You know that you're getting antsy when you're using your pinpointer to bug your dog. Yeah, it's quite exciting to hit that 500 mark, and I hope as time goes on, I can come up with new and innovative ways of entertaining folks online here. Not just the history part. I will continue to lean towards, But doing something like Dale does with his battle chat, that is actually quite fun. And I'd like to come up with something like that as well. Not identical, but something that could be used on YouTube. Trying to get away from there's so many channels that are doing the auctions and whatnot. I'm a collector. I do the odd time I'll buy from an auction, but to dig deep into an auction and buy a lot, no, I can't do that. Heath Dottie's Adventure. Yeah, I posted my email address in the chat there. If you take a look, you want to send me yours again, it'd be great. Yeah, looking at the things that went on in the early 1600s, we're talking all kinds of barbarism that went on, where a lot of the native villages had to be fortified, and they were in constant fear of being attacked by a combination, especially initially from the French and their Indian allies. But they also ended up having reciprocal attacks. I know what the Jesuit priests had a real issue with attacks when they were in the areas like the Long Sault, where the Jesuits were all massacred. Yeah, it was just one constant thing. Fighting the Hurons and the Iroquois Confederacy, along with the French and the French missionaries. And it's interesting because it was the French missionaries and their Indian using the frame Indian. I know in Canada we don't like using that anymore, but they converted the Aboriginals to Christianity, and those were the ones that fought side by side. Thanks, Heath. It's interesting too that they took on they were traded European clothing and whatnot, and those that were actually allies. So there's the Jesuit priests being martyred, and of course you've got, where are you here? Oh, there you are. You can see how they started dressing, utilizing the European style clothing. And it says here, Massacre at the Long Sault. For 7 incredible days, the handful of defenders under Adam Dollard, Sieur de Ormeau, held off 700 Iroquois warriors in the middle of a few stakes. In the middle of a few stakes, that would be their barricade to try to hold them off. It's frightening when you take a look and see how violent things were back in those days. I mean, if anybody wants to come up, by all means, please do. Yes, I know, Marty. A lot of the books were written before we started getting a little bit more politically correct with the names. And even I know in the United States, they call the indigenous people Indians still. We know it was a mistake, but it's not such a big issue here in Canada now, because we've gotten used to correcting that oversight. For instance, we don't call the northern Aboriginals, Eskimos anymore. They're Inuit. In Edmonton here and areas, they've actually, because we have such a close relationship with the Cree Nation here, many of our areas and streets and whatnot have now got the Cree names, which is very cool. It's a little hard for us poor white Anglo-Saxons here to try to pronounce some of the names. You know, Highway 1A is now blah, 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 blah. And then you're just like, oh, I got to find someone to teach me how to say it. But you know what? It really adds kind of a nice flavor to the community. And I live right next to the Enoch Cree Nation here, and we know so many of them, and we talk to them just about every week. It's very cool. Yeah, a lot of folks would not believe that Canada was such a violent place, but you know what? The whole world was more violent back then. Yes, and I think Gail and I were talking a couple weeks back about a number of the Indian nations had consolidated, and the Seneca, the Cayuga, the Okanaga, the Oneida, the Mohawk, they became the League of Five Nations, or the Iroquois Confederacy, and as France started to lose its hold on North America and the British started taking hold. You got to remember that the Aboriginals were used to trading with the French, and they understood the idea of trading and giving something. And the British did not do that. Well, not the ones that were left behind to help them out. So you ended up going at loggerheads, and you know you cannot, especially when they've got after many years, where you're trading pelts and you're getting ammunition and rifles and whatnot, and suddenly say, that's it, we're not giving you any more weapons, or we're not giving you any more ammunition. What do? Micmac, are you down towards Ontario, Marty? There's Nicole showing up. Hey, Nick. That would make you. Now let's see. The Métis Nation is divided in half. One half of the country has got a blue sash, and the other half has got a red sash. And I believe the blue sash is for the east, and the red sash is for the west. So if you were a Métis with a French and Algonquin or Huron combination, then you would have a blue sash, and if you came out and you were Cree, Cree and French, you would have the red sash, which is kind of a cool thing. A lot of people don't know that. Oh, he's down in Nova Scotia, of course. Ogre Coins. Hey, I sent you some coins out today. It should be getting to you in about a week or so. I don't know. I don't know who Matt Stafford is. It must be hockey or something. I'm not a very good representation of a Canadian, because I kind of lost interest in hockey when they went from the original 6 teams. So I'm really dating myself here. I tend to lean. towards the Edmonton Oilers and the Las Vegas Golden Knights tend to be my favorite teams, but I don't go out of my way unless someone buys me a ticket, and tickets are so bloody expensive now. Dubois, yeah, my mother's side of the family are Leblancs, Vios, Paquettes, all from northern Quebec and northern parts of Ontario. Well, someone's got to work. I had a urge to go work last week, and thank God the feeling passed over me. Those of you that are coming in a little late, I'm reviewing the Canadian Battles and Massacres, 300 Years of Warfare and Atrocities on Canadian Soil. It's quite an eye-opener. It's an older book. I've had this for quite a few years now. This one, yeah, this one was published in 1977, but it was originally done in 43, so it's been around for a while. You know what, Papa G? I do have material. I've got a stack load of different books on old ghost towns and whatnot because I'm in Alberta. I plan on hitting up a lot of these things. Of course, I'm going to have to find them now because we've been winterized for a few months. But yeah, I can't wait. I mean, there's certain areas that I'd like to go to. My sister Dawn, she lives in just outside of Carmi, BC, which is not too far from Beaverdell. It's basically like Petticoat Junction. It's in the middle of flipping nowhere, but it's on the Kettle River, and Kettle River was an old area for mining, and Carmi actually ended up a ghost town. But there's quite a few people who have settled in the area. They got nice little cabins and whatnot, and I want to get out there and do some metal detecting in that area. Yeah, old ghost towns, sites of old schools. Gosh, there's I think the only limits your imagination as long as you get permissions for some of them. But overall, there's still quite a few places to go look. I have trouble watching shows like a General Dighole and what's another one that I can't remember. Boy, getting old, terrible. There's a group that's down in the southern states. I love watching their videos, but they're always finding, these old coins and musket balls and Confederate stuff and every Civil War stuff all over the place. They're in the right area, and you get up here and you really have to use your imagination and figure out where you might look. For instance, one of the things I wish I could do is in the areas in around Ontario, the Fenians during just after the Civil War. I don't know how many of you know about the Fenian raids that where Canada was attacked by the Fenians from the U.S. after the Civil War. Anybody aware of that? I would love to find some buttons or mementos from that, because essentially just visualize, these are Irish. They fought in the Civil War, and they were promised by the American government that they would get some support if they invaded Canada. And again, oh yeah, this is in the book too. I'm jumping ahead here, but you know what? That is such an interesting part of the history. A lot of people don't know about that. But at the last minute, the Americans pulled their support, and their raid on Canada didn't go very well. Keeping in mind, Canada at that time was British, and they figured that if the British were focused on what was going on in Canada, then the Irish in Ireland would have a better chance of gaining their independence. And gives you an idea. It's the Battle of Ridgeway, and that actually did happen. And those soldiers that you see on the left actually were part of the American army that had left. They dyed their uniforms. They were actually green. And they had the harp and the IRA flag, and they are attacking the British Army in Canada. Yeah, the very, very violent history. I mean, like it's just cannot get over the stuff. They had things like the Battle of Yonge Street. They had the naval battles on the Great Lakes, some significant ones like the USS Chesapeake and the Shannon fought each other. Oh, the Shannon, by the way, is on one of the Canadian coins. Yeah, you know what? I should have taken that chance when I was down in New Brunswick, as head down to Maine, because it's beautiful country. Maine and Vermont, and oh yeah, that would be cool to go down and see all the old buildings and the old cemeteries. Believe it or not, the old cemeteries, which are quite interesting. And there's Miss Southern Belle. Always a pleasure. I wonder if I could bring that up here. Let's see if I could. Will it work? I'm trying to improve the setup that I have here. Oh no, you can't. Actually, many of the old cemeteries, they've turned them into parks. You can go in and sit down amongst the tombstones and eat your lunch or go read the old stones if you can still read them. If you go to St. John, New Brunswick, it's called the Loyalist Graveyard, is right downtown. Hoover Boys. It just see that my brain cells just kicked in. I love watching the Hoover Boys. Yeah, they have some great videos. So I'm hoping that Dale from Coin World UK is his wife gets better here. She's been taken into the hospital, and so his normal time would be in this slot right now, and I'm hoping everything is going well for them. Yeah, I've been almost coerced. I'm saying almost because I sat down in the guy's backyard and he was teaching me how to do the gold panning. I haven't done it yet. My son, my youngest boy, he actually spent a lot of time out gold panning, and watched a few of the videos and how they were doing it. But I have to get in a little bit better shape. I've been laid up for a year now, so it's hard enough to put my socks on, no less trying to get down and gold pan. Thank goodness I got a shovel that can reach the ground while I'm doing the metal detecting. Oh, it's actually Dale's wife. She's I don't know what's wrong with her, but she was rushed into the hospital. So I do hope that she feels better. Oh, that didn't work. Where are you? Why didn't you work? Okay, I don't want you. I would love to have a youngster that's got the technical know-how to be able to sit down with me, not just watching YouTube videos, because I typically end up falling asleep, but someone that would sit down and walk me through doing and improving the channels and being able to use StreamYard better and all the wonderful little quirks and cool little things. Yeah, that's what I would need, is a big ass rock to sit on. Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about the issues that the Métis went through in Western Canada as well, and they had a large enough group to actually try to form a nation. They did try to form a nation. I believe Gabriel Dumont was one of them, and Louis Riel, of course. Most Canadians know Louis Riel very well. Oh, hello! I just lost my YouTube. Okay, that's cool. Well, at least I got StreamYard still working. Let's see if I can check the chat here. There we go. At least I can see everybody. Okay, Marty. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Oh, interesting. Oh, there it's coming back. Yeah, you look at what you look at what's happened with the Métis and how they were crushed by the Canadian government. Far worse than what the Canadians are doing right now. They first off, they sent a force, the Northwest Mounted Police, to deal with the Riel Rebellion, and back then they didn't have the Trans-Canada Highway or the railroads the way it is now. They had to go across some of the most brutal country you'd ever seen. I don't know how many of you have ever taken the road through Northern Ontario across the Lakehead past Lake Superior. It is one of the most unfriendly pieces of land you possibly ever want to get through. And they did it, and they squashed the rebellion. But again, by our standards, it was not fair. But back then, that's the way they were thinking with the expansion of the British Empire. Nick Molnar. Nick, would you be courageous enough to come up and visit? I actually got to see Nick finally. He actually came on a live feed the other day. It was kind of neat. I don't know why I lost my feed on there. I'm gonna disappear just briefly here. You'd like to ride that on the bike? Well, eventually you'll be able to, Marty. or Heath. Yeah, Heath. It's just, yeah. On the highway, of course, yes. We got good highways up here. Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping some peace comes to this country because the whole world seems to be divided these days. It's just heart wrenching. Okay, I'm going to have two of me in a second. I haven't learned how to. Okay, Nick, no problem. Now there are two of us. And feedback. See if I can get this to work. One day I'll actually get to do this where I know what I'm doing. Okay, that's not working. Yay. Okay, I'm going to make him disappear. There we go. He's gone. Oh, you're lucky that you live in so close to Montreal. Montreal is an amazing city. I just absolutely love it. The food, the culture, everything. Uh, I go back in a heartbeat. Go to old Montreal and have some of that orange glazed duck that they have in some of the restaurants. There we go. I think I'm actually going to do it this time. Okay, that took a little bit of work just to put a link in. Thanks, metal detecting NC. Yeah, I'm happy I hit that milestone. Yeah, again, for those that are coming a little later, I've been taking a gander at this book and realizing that there were worse periods in Canada than there is right now, even though you might think it's not. And again, we can't be held for the sins of our fathers, but we should recognize what happened so it doesn't repeat itself. That's why it's so important to have a grasp of history and a grasp, whether it's good or bad. We should know it all. That way, we can move forward instead of backwards. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't understand, and I think as you get a little older, you realize that you've heard the expression "life has its ups and downs," but the whole idea is a lot of people they tend to live their lives where you have massive ups and massive downs. So it's the whole thing is going like this: big ups and downs. Oscillations are too massive. So you're either feeling really great or feeling really lousy. Well, if you can strive where those oscillations are more ups and less downs, you'll always have downs, and try to improve your life. And that's not just in your personal life, but those around you. You will gradually see an improvement in your world and in the country that you happen to be living in. And you're right. If you allow tyranny, and if you turn a blind eye, then it's just going to happen. That's why I personally have an issue with people who say, "Why should I vote? No one's going to listen to me. My vote doesn't count." Well, there's nothing more, especially as the average person. What do we have as a tool to ensure that we get responsible government? Well, the vote is probably the main thing that we have. You could rebel, you could have all these protests and everything, but 9 times, and we've seen it lately in Canada, a blind eye is turned and nothing really gets resolved. It's just a lot of hard feelings, a lot of hatred that's spewing from both the left and the right. And the best thing that we have is the vote. So if you can vote, vote. But you do have to recognize that why is a country the way it is? I mean, we in Canada have watched with great interest what's happened in the United States. I mean, you talk about the division. Okay, there's a massive division there, and there's no gray area anymore. It's black or white. It's blue or red, and that we have that same thing here. We have the blue and the red. You go to Western Canada, with the exception of parts of BC, and they're all blue. They're conservative. You go into Ontario, you're getting into the red area, but we have other little things we have to take into consideration, like Quebec, who has elected a separatist party, the Bloc Québécois, and that has a huge impact on Parliament, because we don't have the same setup in government that the United States has. I mean, we have a House of Commons, we have a Senate, and whoever's the ruling party, who holds the most seats, is the Prime Minister, and the other half is the opposition. But as a general rule, in the House of Commons, you either have a majority or minority government. That being said, that if you have a majority government, means you got way more seats on one side than the other, and they tend to get away with a lot because they keep pushing everything through. But a minority government, the way it should work, is that if a government is not doing what they should be doing, then the opposition has enough seats. If they go in conjunction with other parties, they can force an election through a non-confidence vote. But the problem now is that we have a separatist party that's sitting in there, and we have a province, which is Ontario, that has the bulk of the population of Canada, and they have more members of parliament representing a larger segment of the population. So hence you've got the red, and you got the, I don't know what color you'd call the orange. No, orange is NDP, probably green. No, that's a separate party too. The minority government isn't working the way it should, so they can't press non-confidence. So we're caught between a rock and a hard place right now. And until we can start resolving this issue with the parties, we're always going to have an issue with proper representation across the entire country. But at least we're not fighting like they did the last 300 years, where it was very, very violent. What we got in chat here? You have to stop licking those coins, Nick Molnar. You'll keep catching germs by doing that. Ew. They don't call it filthy lucre for nothing. Yeah, and that's a very good point there. Metal detecting NC. You have to educate yourself. You have to find out, because it's party politics. It's not like a direct democracy. We are playing party politics here. When you have got a party that's, and this is the importance of educating yourself. You've got to learn what that party stands for, and see if it's genuine to its party line. You got to be careful. Again, I used to be liberal. I'll admit I was liberal, and there was a reason why I was liberal, because on a sliding scale, back when it was supposed to be done this way, the liberals were right in the middle. Then you have the conservatives, and then on the other side, you have people like the NDP or social credit, that sort of thing. So the idea being, as a liberal, you're supposed to balance so that you're not spending too much money and too much big business, but at the same rate, you're still getting social programs, that sort of thing. So it was right in the middle. But now the liberals have swung way over to the socialist side, and they're far more attuned to the NDP and that sort of thing. And the conservatives are way off here. So I couldn't stay liberal, because the true form of liberal, it's gone. It's not there anymore. Yeah, believe me, I don't miss those elections either. I actually ran for office here twice. I ran for mayor for the town of Kalmar. I lost by 12 votes. And I ran for a member of the Legislative Assembly for Edmonton McClung here in 2005. And I didn't win that one either. But you know what? It was an education. I took that in college, so I must, with political science, a better use some of it, which I did. It was a good thing to learn. I know there's racist elements in there, but that's not as prevalent as in the States. And you're right, Papa G. Sometimes you have to pick the lesser of two evils. I mean, I'll be honest with you, having watched the American elections, whatnot, I truly thought that some of the policies and stuff that Trump did were good, but he was such a I hate to say the pun, he was such a twit. With the thing, he was his own worst enemy. if he had been able to keep his things in check, some of his comments and stuff, I think he would have made a really good dynamic president. He had a lot of these folks in Russia and China and whatnot, as North Korea. They're like, who is this guy? I don't want to mess with him. He's a little bit, like kind of aggressive, right? Now you've gotten the point where you got someone that falls asleep at the podium and doesn't know where he's at. He's like, whoa, what a change. It is because now the world is looking as the United States as a paper tiger. They got the military, but you know what? If you got, if the head of the snake is a moron, that doesn't matter how dangerous the thing is. It's not going to work. You need true leadership. You need to have someone that has wherefore. I'm showing my bias here because I have one person in the United States I think should run for president, only because this guy is amazing. He doesn't pull no punches. A lot of people hate him. Ben Shapiro. That man is the most amazing young fella I have ever seen. He does not hold his punches. He's very articulate. He's definitely Republican oriented, but at the same rate, he's not moronish with it. And he utilizes this up here. I would like to see him. I would like to see him run for president if he ever could. In Canada, you know what? We got a guy. I remember his first name's Pierre. He's down in Well, he's in Ottawa. He's a conservative, but oh my goodness, that man is smart. I would love to see that man as the Prime Minister of Canada. Again, though, it all depends on how we can straighten out our own political parties and get enough votes in so that we can see a change in government. Yeah. Yeah, you got to shake your head with some of the agendas they have. Again, they're losing sight of the people, and they're losing sight of basic principles and basic things that we hold dear. But at the same rate, we also have to be careful because a lot of this stuff is given up to interpretation, and one person will say it should be understood this way, and another person will say it should be understood this way. Not talking about the Constitution of the United States, even though I'm sure if they were to modernize it a little bit so that it explains itself a little bit better. Old English can be interpreted quite a bit differently. We in Canada have with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It's a good document, but it's left a lot of gray areas. There's no black and white anymore, and with so many gray areas, people are again left up to interpretation, and it's making a real mockery out of the charter. What is or isn't? How is it interpreted? What's right? What's wrong? I'm an old sort. I'd say, yeah, I want to know yes or no. Not the maybe stuff. I want yes or no. Yeah, you can't please everybody, but you can at least appease. You can make it so that you can give everybody somewhat of what they want, but sometimes you can't give them all that they want. But you try to do the best you can. That's all any of us as human beings can do is try to do the best we can. Oh yeah, you're right. Ran so far away. Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. It's with a runaway mouth, and making sure that the facts are correct. Make sure that you're not all emotion. You have to have what do they say? Put your brain in gear before you put your mouth in motion. Yeah, the Democrats, unfortunately, they're your liberals. They're the like our liberals here. They're I don't know. I it's not the way it's supposed to be, but that's the way they've gone. But at the same rate, you don't want to have too many parties either, or you end up with the same problem we're having up here in Canada. Because once you end up with too many parties, the one large party cannot or can run away roughshod, and the others, if they're not talking to one another, then we're in trouble. Hey, Taffy. Oh, really? Oh, I'm pleased to hear that. A Jubilee 50p coin. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They did, and unfortunately, little things. Even today, when I sit and I look at what has happened, like with the wall on the Mexican border, uh, they 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 almost finished the bloody thing, and then because the Democrats get in, just despite the fact that it was the Republicans that had the fence built, it was Trump's project, they let it sit there and it's rotting and it's wide open. Why not finish it and make a secure border? It's not saying people can't come in. It's to make sure that it's regulated when they come in, so that you're getting people who are are not the type of people that will. I'm talking criminals. And there's a criminal element in every society, but everybody should be regulated when they come into a nation to ensure that the quality of life is maintained. It's not that big a deal. It really isn't. But what can I say? It's funny that you bring that up, Taffy Coins. I was in a little curio shop today in West Edmonton Mall, and we got this lovely lady that runs the shop, and she knows that I anchor my coin collections to objects, part of my exonumia, and because I'm a monarchist, and I belong to the Monarchist League of Canada too. Boy, that must really get you good, eh? Welshman. Anyway, I was looking at this beautiful plate of Queen Elizabeth. Oh my gosh. It showed her in three different stages in her life, but it was gold gilded. And I'm looking, I'm going, how? I've already got Prince Philip dedicated since he's passed away, and he used to be he's the colonel of our regiment. I wanted something for Queen Elizabeth because I've got the royal family and everything in the crown collection I have. But I don't know how I'm going to fit it. I'm sure a lot of you have seen my special hat my kids got me from Vegas here. This is the hat that I got. It's made so that it protects you from the virus because, believe it or not, it comes with its own mask. I thought that was pretty cool. But I especially like this one here. Well, it was. It's right now. It's a bit of a mess, but it's getting there. It'll get back. Oh boy, oh boy. Wow, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. Yeah, okay. I do have a large, I used to be well, I still am a Trekker, but I used to have a lot of Star Trek stuff. Big pictures that of the star field glowed, and tons of different Bradford Exchange plates and you name it. Now I got a tickle trunk full of bloody things, and I can't give the bloody things away. And whereas I don't mind having a few plates, but they have to have the theme that I'm looking for. Yeah, gets that up here. Yes, the Germans are very pro-Russian because of the pipeline, the gas and oil. I mean, they're reliant on it. How things have changed. Uh, I'm taking the whole issue in the Ukraine with a grain of salt. I'm hoping nothing comes of it. But again, even though I'm not a big Putin fan, the bloody guy is amazing. He is absolutely amazing. He's whether you like him or not. I mean, yes, he was a colonel in the KGB. Yeah, he was a hardcore communist. Yes, he was. He is also very intelligent, very dynamic, healthy as a horse. The guy's into sports and racing cars and scuba diving and he's elegant, and he's just for a Russian, he's cool. And when you take a look at poor old Joe Biden, my goodness, he should be in a nurse. I'm sorry, he should be in a nursing home. Yeah, I hope so too. Of course they are. This goes right back to the Cold War. They and when you have uh, countries like Syria and Egypt and Lebanon, any country that was relying on Eastern support for their weapons and their training, you always found a counterpart in the East and the West supplying their enemies with likewise training and weapons and support. It's been like that for as long as I've been around, and it will continue to be that way because there's always that counterbalance thing going on. Um, the whole thing is don't want it to end up sliding too far the other way, where we end up where they feel they can take advantage. And right now, Russia and China feel that we in North America are weak right now. Same with Europe; they're quite weak too with their politics and with the COVID and all the rest of it going on. China's threatening to go after Taiwan and absorb it into their empire, and the Russians are looking at getting the Ukraine. They're taking advantage. It's sad. No, he doesn't. He doesn't care about world opinion. Why should he? It's the largest country in the world. They utilized Western technology and resources to bolster their economy. They're better than than the Stalinist era ever was. People are healthier and better off than they've been in a century, as military might has been bolstered? Of course. Oh, Taffy, you're going to take off. Okay, well, good luck. Good luck with getting up at 6 a.m. there, my friend. I every time I get up at that hour and the rest of the day, I'm bouncing off walls, ready to go to sleep first chance I get. Well, what is it they say? Metal detecting NC, the bear will kill the eagle or something along that lines. Yeah, it's really, they do tend to lean towards enjoying their vodka too much. But you know what? Alcoholism and drug abuse is prevalent everywhere anyway. You know, the one thing I want to learn how to make, I gotta get a recipe for it. I'm really interested in trying properly made borscht. Yeah, I've been watching a young couple. Oh, Dan, Dan, and oh, I forget his wife's name, and they just had a little baby, and they're living in a small town. They moved well away from Moscow. I have to look at it again, but um, they look like they're having a fairly good life. But I don't know. I would really like to travel and see exactly how people are living in and around, especially when you start looking at the surrounding countries around Russia. I mean, I've heard some nightmare stories. What is it? I can't even say it. Turkmenistan, is it? And some of the other smaller countries of Georgia, they've had a lot of problems there. Moscow and Petersburg are different countries than Russia. Different countries, as in the way the people are treated because they're in major metropolitan areas. They're treated like a small country within a larger. I'd love to understand exactly what you mean by that. Oh yeah, okay, we're talking about the same guys, Heath. Yeah, he was sick, and actually, I was just watching them making a. They were making borscht for me, and I'm like, hey, I you normally don't like beets, but that kind of looks good. That's what I was curious about. So it's interesting how the metropolitan areas can be so well developed, and then you get into the countryside, it's third world. Very interesting. Yeah, I would like to see more. That's interesting. Why would the winning party and their government imprison those that came in second place? Well, that would be like the opposition, right? What, so that if there's no opposition, then they can just do whatever they want. So it becomes a dictatorship. Yes, I enjoyed that. They show the people playing music and different restaurants that they walk by and the different squares, the different markets. I really enjoy their videos. Yeah, I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of the Russian or the old Soviet Union. I got a small amount. I don't know what you folks do for your world coins. See, I categorize mine in that I have my U.S., my Canadian, my British. Then I have in one large album, I have my world. And what I've done with the world ones is I've done them alphabetically. So I open it up. I can start off with the Arab Democratic Republic and Argentina and Australia and all that stuff. And it's all alphabetical. I'm not worried whether it's silver or clad or whatever, or what years. But if I happen to find coins from different countries, I try to again lay them out in some sort of order. Yeah, this was I don't know if this was Lighthouse or not. I walked into my local coin shop and I asked Jack. I said, Jack, do you have anything for so I can collect my world coins? He says, well, yeah, I have a return here. You can have it. And he gave me this for $7. I said, sold. This problem with it though is it's too big to put in my cabinet, so I have to leave it out. It's just my world coins. I don't, like I say, those ones are just so I have a different currencies from different countries. Well, I won't turn silver down. Yeah, it was. It was a really good price. I can't argue with that at all. Um, I would like if I had my druthers, but it's expensive. I would love to get the Dansko albums for the U.S. coins. Um, in Canada, we have the Lighthouse Vista albums, bar none. They're absolutely superior. They're well marked, and it even comes in the back of the albums. I'll show you some of them here if you haven't seen them already. Uh, it gives you the opportunity to find out, the mintage and different variations. I'll just grab one of the wild. We'll take the Toonie one. The Toonie? Oh, that's a dollar one. Well, the dollar one's a good example. Okay. Okay, so the album looks like this. I mean, I'm not too keen on the design. It's not bad. But this one here is 1935 to 67. This whole album is pure silver. There's no clad in this one at all. And it starts off and it shows details on the years, and tells a little bit about what's on the obverse and reverse. And in the back of the album, it actually breaks it down so you can see the years and the mintage for each year, which comes in extremely handy. So this particular one, I've got 1935. Missing, the only ones I'm missing is the 47 Maple Leaf and the 48. Those are those key dates that are. It's going to cost me about $4,000 to fill those two. But all the rest, these are all silver. And that was a fun album to fill. Oh, good find. Oh, you know what? I always check the Coinstar machines. Always. It was better before the pandemic hit, but I have found so much silver in those bloody things because people they get careless. They don't check. I've got a friend of mine, Jason, down in Jacksonville. He's actually selling, if you guys are into Morgans and peace dollars and stuff, he's got a huge collection. What I'm gone and done is I got a copy from the Liberty Coin Service. It's not like using Numista, but it's handy. I'm old school, so I keep track of all the different ones I have, and it shows the grade, purchase date, price, that sort of thing, and little details. And I'm slowly, being in Canada, of course, collecting U.S. coins and British coins is a challenge. But I have to admit, I really do love the Morgan dollars. I got the majority of the Morgans I have here are hiding in my little album here, But I'll go down places like Red Deer, Alberta. I was picking up some stuff for my son. Red Deer is just a small city. We're talking it's probably just over 10,000 people. And I saw this little sign saying that it was a coin shop, and it was down in a basement. It was a room that was probably smaller. In fact, it's probably half the size of my man cave here. And I walk in, and here's a case, and staring in front of me was a Morgan dollar. And I go, what is that thing doing here in Red Deer, Alberta? It's midway between Calgary and Edmonton. And it was in 1878, Carson City. The guy says, well, you can have it for $100 Canadian. I said, thank you very much. I almost put my hand through the glass when he said that. Picked it up, and now it's part of my collection. So it's my U.S. This I also have. That's my one, but I also have the Littleton albums. I don't like it very much, the Littleton ones, but you work with what you've got. I'd like to get the Dansko. Oh man, those are nice. But I'm hoping our friends up in the Lighthouse and Lighthouse come up. Now, I know probably a lot of you don't collect the presidential dollars. I fell in love with them. Again, Canadian, what the heck? Very, very easily entertained here. Lighthouse come out with this. Okay, that is a very, very nice package. And then when I opened it, that hit my face. And I went, wait a minute. I got to have this. That's all there is to it. So I opened it up and I said, okay, I bought it. But what I didn't realize is that when you collect presidential dollars, you got to get both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. So suddenly, what I thought was going to be a relatively inexpensive collection turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. Now I got them all. It's done. Apparently, I have to wait for the next president to die to get another coin in here. But I just put in George W. Bush in there, so that's done. But I love this collection. These are very cool. Yeah, I have not seen a lot of people with it. I don't think it caught on as much as I thought it might. But again, that is a beautiful collection, and I'm really glad I got it. Well, I haven't seen a lot of people popping up here tonight. So, what is everybody up to? Yeah, I know. I see that evil arch conservative. You can't put living people on the U.S. coins. Yeah, I could see that. Oh yeah, it's not even 4 o'clock in the afternoon here yet. We got another 15 minutes. It's been one of those days where, like I said, I felt lost without Dale, and since I've got my fiber optics working a little bit now, I just have to hone my skills on my StreamYard. This, like I said, I just wish I had somebody that was closer to me that could sit down and help me with this bloody thing, because I'm retired, and it's a lot of fun doing this thing. This is what I'm doing now instead of ham radio. I used to love ham radio, and it's a lot of fun doing the YouTube videos. So how many of you are still getting those phone calls that are saying they're going to cancel your social security number and stuff? I'm still getting probably those 2 and 3 times a week. Oh yeah, yeah. This month I went out and I bought myself a tube of Canadian maple leaves, so it kind of negated me getting anything else. Uh, I ended up getting a grab bag from the Silver Picker Squad Discord Every 3 or 4 months they do a grab bag swap. It's not like buying a grab bag off of eBay, but it's more attuned to having someone oversee. It's like a Secret Santa, perfect for me. You agree on, well, 100, in my case it was $100 US value. It has to have at least one piece of silver in it, one oddity, and you had to make sure that you didn't go below that, which very few actually fell into that category. Most of them are very generous. Generosity, I'll show you how generous some of these people are. I got a grab bag a while back. Now this last one was worth at least $350 US. It's only supposed to be worth 100, minimum 100. It was a rather large grab bag. It had a lot of different stuff, mostly world coin, not expensive stuff. Then sitting amongst all this stuff is this immaculate 1945 Canadian silver dollar. That's a $400 coin. It was a beautiful coin. And does he know what he's giving in this grab bag? Like, holy mackerel. So because of this sort of thing, I've got hooked on this. And now with the Silver Picker Squad and their Discord grab bag swaps, I won't miss them because they are absolutely the coolest. And they've really come a long ways, because eventually you get to know everybody in the Discord, what we collect and whatnot. So that when I do up a grab bag, I know, oh, he collects Canadian, or he collects American or British or whatever. He's really into the silver. He likes Morgans or whatever. You try to and again, you don't know who you're going to be buying for, and they don't know who's going to receive, or who you're going to receive the thing from. It makes for a lot of fun. So my collection has really built up a lot because of that simple activity. Oh yeah, it's doing a Secret Santa is a very cool idea. Again, as long as everybody is being fair, and realize that you should take a little bit of time to figure out what this stuff is worth, so that everybody gets a decent grab bag out of the deal. Well, I'm going to be signing off here pretty soon here, guys. Again, this was just kind of an impromptu thing. Talk a little bit of history, a little bit about coins, and whatever else. We did politics and everything else. Just checking to see, it's pretty early. Oh, you did? Oh, good. Let's see who we got for. That's live. I don't think there's too many people on right yet. Do a raid if we want to do a raid. My dog is starting to hint at me that he wants to go for a walk. Oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking that I'm going to go run over to Muscle Shells and do a raid on him. So if anybody wants to do a raid on Muscle Shell, by all means, just to say hello. And yeah, sure enough, he's alive. Oh, I'm glad you got it, Patty. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I haven't been on for a while because of the for the gaming, because I was going through a change in internet providers, so I went from copper to the fiber optic, which is making a huge difference. Now I just have to upgrade my bloody computer. Yeah, I'm just going to put it in now. Here we go. Come on, do there. Get up there. Hello. There you are. I keep getting the wonderful color wheel. That's not my internet. That's my computer is so slow. Oh, you've never been in Muscle Shell stream? Yeah, actually, I mentioned your name in some of the other years. Must have been ringing. I think it was two packs. It says, "Who's Papa Giorgio?" There it is. There's the link. So, thank you everybody for coming in. And I'm going to do my raid, and then I'm going to go off and I'm going to take care of my puppy dog because he's starting to demand. So, thank you for coming out. And keep in mind that Saturday, if everything goes well, we'll hit up Dale for Coin World UK for his battle chat, and then come Monday, I'll be back on my regular timing for history through World Numismatics, and some of you guys can win yourself some more coins. So this is the Skipper signing out. Have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.